Today, we are diving into a really powerful idea, the fact that geography is this hidden key, the secret ingredient to truly understanding our world, everything from global strategy right down to the tactics on a battlefield. So let's just start with a question. Think about it for a second. When you see these grand strategies just collapse, or when expert predictions completely miss the mark, what's the one thing they almost always overlook? Well, the answer is kind of hiding in plain sight. It's this: a pretty shocking lack of geographic knowledge. The source material we're looking at today actually calls this the tragedy of geographic illiteracy. And we're not just talking about a simple gap in education. This is a critical, high-stakes blind spot. And look, this isn't just some abstract concept. This tragedy creates very real, very dangerous blind spots at every single level of decision-making. And this is what's so interesting. You can see how the problem just scales up. On the left, you see where it might start, right? In high school, with maybe some poor map skills. But when that exact same gap exists in a professional military context, like you see on the right, the consequences are absolutely catastrophic. You get fragile terrain analysis, you underestimate the brutal reality of logistics, and you completely overlook the importance of strategic choke points and sea lanes. So the big question is, how do you even begin to fix a problem that's this fundamental? Well, the source material we're looking at proposes a really clear solution, a structured, deliberate curriculum that's designed to systematically build this missing literacy. And it's called the corrective pathway. Now, this is not just some random playlist of videos. Think of it more as a structured, intellectual journey, one that's specifically designed to forge a whole new way of seeing the world, a way that's actually grounded in the physical realities of our planet. This whole journey unfolds in 5 really logical, escalating stages. Okay, so check out how this builds. It starts with the absolute basics in Part A: what is a map? How do you even read one? From there, Part B layers on an understanding of Earth's systems, like how terrain is actually formed. Then, in Part C, it zooms way out to the geopolitical level. We're talking borders, choke points. Part D brings it right back down to the tactical level, connecting terrain and weather to combat. And finally, you get to Part E, campaign geography and logistics. This is where you learn how to analyze the way a physical landscape shapes an entire military operation over months or even years. It's really a masterclass in shifting your perspective and scale. But here's the crucial part, and you really got to get this. This is not about passively watching videos. The whole thing is designed to build durable, practical skills through active engagement. To make that happen, the curriculum forces you to actually apply what you've just learned. You're not just asked to, define core concepts. You have to use them. You'll analyze a real topographic map. You'll compare historical campaigns. You'll even estimate the logistical throughput of a port. This is how that passive knowledge gets turned into an active, usable skill. And this slide right here perfectly illustrates the kind of depth we're talking about. You get to learn professional-grade tools like OACOC, which is a real military framework for analyzing terrain. You're no longer just looking at a valley. You're taught to see it in terms of fields of fire, avenues of approach, and key obstacles. I mean, this is literally how strategists see the world. Ultimately, the whole goal here is to bridge that gap between these powerful theories and the messy reality of world events, both in the past and what's happening right now. And the curriculum does this by taking you through a fascinating range of case studies. These principles get applied to understand everything from the arbitrary lines drawn on a map that created the India-Pakistan border to the super complex geopolitics of the South China Sea. You'll see how geography shaped the global fronts of World War II and the Soviet quagmire in Afghanistan. And you'll apply it to current events, like understanding how the vast open plains of Ukraine have dictated the nature of the fighting there. It really connects all the dots. This comparison table is just a perfect example of the high-level analysis this pathway makes possible. I mean, just look at the stark contrast. On the top line, for World War II, you see operational reach is vast, right? It's enabled by sea and air power. But for the Afghan conflict on the bottom line, it's severely restricted by those mountains. Now, look over at sustainment. For World War II, it's all about sea lanes and rail. For Afghanistan, it's totally reliant on vulnerable roads and air power. The terrain itself dictates the entire logic of the conflict. It's fascinating. So the crucial takeaway here, the big point, is this. We really have to stop thinking about geography as some kind of trivia subject. It's not about memorizing capitals. True geographic literacy, it's about understanding the fundamental operating system of the world, the physical constraints and opportunities that shape absolutely everything, from trade to war. In the end, geography deals the cards that every leader, every strategist, and every nation has to play. The only real question is, do you actually know the rules of the game?